All right, good morning, kids, or good afternoon. It really depends on your schedule. It's the morning for me. It is Wednesday, April 15th. You should be watching this on Wednesday, April 15th. And today we're going to be reading chapters 3 and chapters 4 and completing that Google form over our novel, Escaping the Giant Wave. The last time we left off, Kyle, BB, and his mom and dad had gone to Oregon on a vacation. But when they got there, they did not get the motel they were thinking they were going to. They are actually in the Totem Pole Inn, which is not the one that was promised for them. It is older, it is across the street, and they're already not really off to a great start. So with that, we're going to get started on chapter 3. Here we go. The next day, we saw the warning sign. We got up early, partly because we were too excited to sleep late, and partly because our bodies were still on Kansas time, which was 2 hours later than Oregon. The construction noise from the new hotel hadn't helped either. After breakfast at the Frontier Lodge, Mom, Dad, BB, and I headed for the ocean. Wooden steps zigzagged from the hotel parking lot down to the beach. 27 steps, BB said when we reached the bottom. It seems like more when we go up, Dad said. The Pacific Ocean was awesome, stretching into the distance as far as I could see. A wide sandy beach, dotted with shells deposited at high tide, invited us to explore. Waves lapped the shore, sandpipers scuttled along just beyond the water's reach, and gulls swooped overhead. The water was too cold for swimming, but BB and I took off our shoes and socks, rolled up our pant legs, and waded along the edge. BB carried a plastic bucket, and she began collecting shells and pretty stones. Be selective, Dad said. You can't keep every rock you find. I don't plan to keep any of them, BB said. When we get home, I'm going to sell them to the other kids. Genuine Pacific Ocean souvenirs, 10 cents each. I saw Dad roll his eyes at Mom, and I was pretty sure they wouldn't let her sell the stones to her friends, but they didn't scold her right now. The tide was low, exposing wide outcrops of rock. Tide pools held tiny crabs, sea anemones, and even one starfish. I was tempted to put the sea creatures in BB's bucket to take home, but I didn't do it. I wanted them to live more than I wanted to show them to my friends. We walked and saw only 4 other people. Each time a person approached, I looked to see if it was Darren, and I was relieved when it wasn't. Mom said, "It is so beautiful here. I'm sorry to see a big hotel built. By next summer, this beach will probably be crowded." "There's a sign sticking out of the sand," BB said. She ran ahead to see what it said, then rushed back to report. "It's a warning sign. It says the Oregon coast might get hit by a tsunami." She spelled out the word. "Tsunami," I said. "It's a giant wave, usually caused by an earthquake." BB scowled at me. "How do you know that?" It always bugs her when I know something she doesn't. "We did a disaster unit in 5th grade. Remember my report on volcanoes when I made the model of Mount St. Helens?" BB nodded. Gary gave his report on tsunamis. He enlarged some pictures that he had found in a book. They showed an area where a tsunami had hit. There were collapsed buildings and uprooted trees, but the photos were all taken a long time ago in Hawaii. I didn't know tsunamis ever happened in Oregon. "Well, neither did I," said Mom. "The one I remember reading about was years ago in Alaska." "Tsunami sounds scary," BB said. We gathered around the sign while Dad read it out loud. It said that tsunamis are dangerous, have struck the Oregon coast many times, and can follow within minutes of an earthquake. "Minutes?" Mom said. "That doesn't give much time to get away." Dad continued to read. "Most tsunamis are not one giant wave, but a series of large waves that strike the shore over the course of several hours." "And it better not happen while we're here," BB said. "I'd hate to think Dad's boss paid all that money for our vacation, and then we can't stay because of a tsunami." "We aren't any more likely to have a tsunami while we're here than to be caught in a tornado back home," Mom said. "I wonder if they have tsunami drills here in school, the way we have tornado drills." "Well, probably," Dad said. The sign had a map showing that the offshore earthquake-prone area ran parallel to the coast of Oregon. "Where's Fisher Beach?" I asked. Dad pointed to the center of the map. "Here's the town of Fisher, and here's Fisher Beach." "Great," I said. "We're right in the middle of the danger zone." Dad read the instructions for escaping a tsunami. "Protect yourself during the earthquake. As soon as it stops, go inland and uphill. Do not go to the beach, even after the tsunami wave hits. Wait for the official notice that it's safe before returning to the beach. He quit reading and looked at us. You got that? We all nodded. Okay, let's forget about giant waves and enjoy ourselves. We walked a while longer, then turned back toward the hotel. When we reached the zigzag steps again, Mom and Dad sat on some driftwood and watched the waves while BB searched for shells. I decided to make a sea picture. I gathered stones, bits of seaweed, pieces of driftwood, 2 bird feathers, and some broken shells. I drew a rectangular picture frame in the sand with a stick, and then used all the other materials to create my artwork. It turned out so well that I was sorry I had made it so close to the water where the tide would come in and wash it away. I decided to take a photo of the sea picture. When I went back to our room, got my camera, and was waiting for the elevator when Darren came out of his room. "What are you doing?" he asked. "I'm meeting my folks down at the beach." "I'll come with you." I couldn't very well tell him no, it's a public beach. Still, my palms got sweaty at the idea of going anywhere with Darren. When the elevator came, Darren got on first. Being shut in an elevator alone with him did not appeal to me, so I blurted, "I'll meet you downstairs. I need to exercise." The elevator's door closed. I clumped down the stairs, reminding myself that this was my chance to fulfill one of my summer goals. Stand up to Darren. Put him in his place, once and for all. Dream on. I wanted to do it, but not now. When I reached the lobby, I looked at the elevator, expecting Darren to step out. But the doors remained closed. Had he already gotten out and was hiding somewhere, waiting to pounce on me? I glanced nervously behind a large potted plant. Then I noticed that the arrow over the elevator that showed which floor it was on. The arrow was between 2 and 3 and not moving. I pushed the down button and it didn't light up. The elevator was stuck. I ought to leave him there, I thought. Payback for 7 years of punching me. I could pretend I thought he was ahead of me and go on down to the beach, and then when I saw him again, I'd ask why he hadn't come with me and act surprised when he said the elevator had stopped. But then I thought about how scary it would be to get stuck in an elevator, and I couldn't do it, not even to Darren. I went to the counter in the lobby and rang the brass bell. When the clerk arrived, I said, "There's a kid stuck in the elevator." "Not again," the clerk sighed, as if the personal inconvenience was more than he could bear. "I suppose I should call a repair service." He sighed again. "That seems like a good idea," I said. Then, having what I could have done for Darren, I headed for the beach. I stopped several times to pick up more stones and another feather to add to my picture. Something silver glistened in the sand. I rushed over, but it was only a pop top from an aluminum can. I stuck it in my pocket so nobody would step on it with their bare feet and get cut. I added the new stones and feathers to my sea picture, then aimed my camera at it, adjusted the focus. Just as I snapped the shutter, a pair of shoes jumped into the middle of my picture, kicking the feathers, stones, and shells into a jumbled pile. "Hey," I said. I let the camera dangle from its strap around my neck. "What'd you do that for?" Darren stood inside my former picture, smirking at me. "Do what?" he asked. "You wrecked my picture." "No, I didn't." I stared at him. How could he deny it when the evidence was right there under his feet? Darren ground a feather into the sand with his heel. "You ran off and you left me stuck in the elevator." "I didn't run off. I told the hotel clerk you were stuck, and he said he'd call a repair service." "Right," Darren said, as if he didn't believe me. He dragged one foot back and forth, erasing the remains of my picture frame. "How'd you get here so fast?" I asked. "The repairman must have already been in the building." The elevator started working again by itself. It was only stuck a couple of minutes. When I got to the lobby, I saw you through the big window walking towards the beach, so I followed you. I put my camera back in the carrying case and turned away from Darren. "Where are you going?" Darren said. I pointed. My parents are over there. I'm supposed to meet them. "That was a stupid picture you made in the sand," Darren said. In my head, I said, "It was a really great picture, and you're the stupid one for wrecking it." Out loud, I said nothing. So much for my summer goals. I'm a coward, I thought, as I walked away. A wimp, a big baby who's scared to stand up for himself. I'll probably never learn to pop a wheelie either. I'll strike out every time I get up to bat, and Mom and Dad will be so disgusted with me, they'll cut my allowance in half. When I got to where Mom and Dad were sitting, Mom said, "I saw you talking to Darren. Do you want to invite him to come to our room with you and BB while we're gone this evening? His parents will be going on the cruise with us. He could eat with you and—" "No!" I said. It came out louder than I meant it to. Mom cocked her head sideways and waited for me to explain. I don't like Darren too much," I said. "Why not?" Mom asked. "Well, he smokes." And that was true. Twice I'd seen him light a cigarette as soon as he got off the school bus. I thought Darren was super dumb for smoking, but it was not the reason I didn't like him. However, I knew Mom wouldn't want me to hang out with a kid who smokes. "He's mean," Phoebe said. "He picks on kids at school all the time." Does he pick on you?" Dad asked. "No," Phoebe said. "If he ever does, you tell him to knock it off or you'll report him to the principal," Dad said. "You can't let bullies get away with being mean or they'll just come back for more." I braced myself, fearing that Mom would jump into the conversation with a million questions. But for once, she didn't. She nodded at Darren's advice to Phoebe and said no more about Darren. That afternoon, when it was time for Mom and Dad to leave, I got more instructions than usual. "You can charge the pizza to our room," Dad said, "but tip the delivery person with cash." He gave me a $5 bill. "They get $5 just for bringing a pizza to us?" Phoebe asked. "Yes," Dad said, "and don't get any funny ideas about only giving him part of it and keeping the rest." "Maybe I won't be president of a bank when I grow up," Phoebe said. "Maybe I'll deliver pizza instead." "You'd have to carry a lot of pizza to earn as much as a bank president makes," Mom said. "Not everyone gives a big tip." I was tempted to ask about a tip for my babysitting, but I decided not to push my luck. Tomorrow, after I reported how smoothly our evening had gone, I would ask again about an increase in my allowance. "You can watch TV while we're gone, but stay in our room. We don't want you wandering outside without us." "Can I watch Money Talk at 7 o'clock? Phoebe asked. She looked at me since she knows I don't like that program. "Sure," I said. "I'll write my postcards to Gary and Grandpa and Grandma while you watch it." "We'll have the cell phone with us," Mom said. "I don't know if there's reception on the ship." "Probably not." "Kyle is not going to call us and interrupt the Salesman of the Year program," Dad said. "We'll be clear out on the ocean anyway. If there's a problem, he can call the front desk." "We'll be fine," I said. "It's no different than when we stay home, so don't worry about us." Mom gave me a hug. "Thanks," she said. "Have a good time," I said. After they left, I put a chain in the door in case Darren decided to pay us an unannounced visit. Phoebe and I played gin rummy for a while. Then we read the room service menu and chose what kind of pizza we wanted. Even though it was only 5 o'clock, we decided to eat. "Let's order milkshakes too," Phoebe said. "I want vanilla." "Sounds good to me." I had never ordered anything from room service before, but it was easy. "Charge it to room 306, I said, as if I charged things every day of my life. "While we wait for the food to come," Phoebe said, "let's buy candy bars from this machine. They can be our dessert." "We ordered milkshakes," I said. "I don't want a candy bar, too." "Well, I do. I'll eat it later when I watch my program." We're supposed to stay in the room. "Mom and Dad let me use the candy machine last night. It's down the hall, just past the elevator." I decided a trip to the candy machine wasn't the same as wandering alone, so I said yes. And I let her go by herself, in case Mom called. She often calls when BB and I are alone, and I knew she would freak out completely if she called the room and nobody answered. "Go straight to the candy machine and come straight back," I said. "You sound like Dad," Phoebe said. She scooped 3/4 from the pile of change Dad left and skipped down the hall. I stood in the doorway and watched her pass the elevator and turn the corner to the alcove where the candy machine was located. Before she came back, the phone rang. "Hi, honey," Mom said. "We're getting ready to board the ship and wanted to be sure everything's okay with you guys." "We're fine," I said. "We ordered pizza and milkshakes, and we're waiting for them to be delivered." "Oh, good. We'll see you then." "Love you." "Love you, too." I hung up and went back to the doorway. Phoebe should have been back by now, but the hallway was empty. All right, and that is the end of Chapter 3. BB and Kyle were left at the hotel by themselves while their parents are on their cruise celebrating his dad's success. They ordered room service. They've gotten pizza and milkshakes, and everything was seeming to be going fine until BB decided that she wanted to go get a candy bar. And she has gone down the hallway, and she should be back by now. But the hallway is empty. So, where do you think BB is? What do you think happened? And what do you think Kyle will do? All right, make sure you go to the next link to watch chapter 4.